Morning as we
There
get
you go. Awesome.
thanks.
Got it.
Put some praise emojis in the chat. Y'all know what praise emojis are? Hands up like this. Put some praise emojis. Okay, so all right,
All
Patrick,
right.
take it away, honey.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. I am so excited that you're here. If you are here for the first time, go ahead and drop a one in the chat. You've decided that you're going to sacrifice something in your life this morning for you. So just drop a one in the chat. If it's your first time, we want to welcome you to our Saturday morning book club. This is where we really get to share our journey and what we're experiencing on Optavia. And so if you're new, we want to welcome you. Thank you so much for being here. Second thing is this, if you go down at the bottom of your screen, there's a thing that says reaction. If you want to share this morning, the only way that we could recognize that you want to share is if you hit that button and then it says raise your hand. In the upper right-hand corner, you can see something like this, like a hand, or left-hand corner of your screen, and we'll know that you want to share this morning. This morning isn't about me. It's about us collectively in our journey and in our Habits of Health book. And I want to shout out my boy, from last week, Ronnie. Ronnie, you rocked us last week, man. Thank you so much for sharing and facilitating. And we're going to continue where Ronnie kind of left off in Habits of Health, this book, the Habits of Health book, point one, 1.3, where Dr. A asks this really pointed question. He says, "Are you really ready to change? Are you really ready to change?" And this is not an outside question. It may have been voiced in a different way before. But those of you who have read the Bible, in John chapter 5 and 6, Jesus goes to the pool of Bethesda and he sees this guy there. He's been there for 38 years. And the Bible said Jesus knew that he's been in that state for a long time. But he asked the question anyway, do you want to be made well? And the question this morning goes out to all of us. Do we really want to be made well? In our minds, we may want to be made well. In our hearts, we may want to be made well. But most people want change. They just don't want the responsibility that comes with changing. Or we want to give it to somebody else. So all the coaches on here this morning, am I the only one that at some point in my coaching platform, I must confess I coach too many people in the sense that I wanted that more for them than they wanted for themselves. Right? I wanted change for them more than they wanted change for themselves. In John Maxwell's book, The Leader Within, he talks about him standing in front of a great group of people. And he says, who here wants change? And hand shoots up in the air like, hey, I want change, like rockets launching in the sky. Right. And then he said, who wants to change now? And like snails slithering back into their shells, those same arms came down. So the question this morning again is, am I really ready for change? I'll talk about me first. I came into Optavia with some jacked up mindsets. I had some habits, some ways, some old views, some old styles, some attitudes, some perceptions, some established ways of doing things because I came from a military background where I thought I had to really kill my body to be healthy. If I wasn't sweating and hurting and ducking and dodging and jumping and running, if I weren't doing all of these things, I wasn't really working out to get healthy. So I brought all of that with me into Optavia. And the honesty is that, even after my first week on Optavia, and I didn't come in to lose weight, even my first week in Optavia, I got kicked out of fat burn because I kept on exercising, not recognizing that if change was going to take place, that my mind first had to change before change would take place. And so I was hooked up with some bad relationships. Sugar was a relationship that I wasn't willing to give up. I didn't want to give it up. I was hooked up with a relationship, but now my wife tells me the only sugar I have is her, right? And so I'm not sure where you are on your journey. I'm not sure what you're experiencing this morning, where you are. Maybe it's your first day on the journey or your 38th year, chronologically speaking, on journey, right? But I'd love to hear, what are you experiencing on journey? What's difficult for you as it pertains to change? And Dr. A talked about changing as our health and our well-being, right? We all came on here for some reason. But what are some things that are hindering change in your life? So I'm gonna shut up, and I'd really like to hear, what some of you have to say, because I'm excited about this. So let's put your hand up this morning, press the emoji. We'll call on you. We'll know that you're there. Anybody wants to share this morning about your experience so far on the journey? Yolanda, I see your hand up. Come on.
Yes, hello, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you. Long story short, and I know I'm putting myself out here, but I got to, because I need help. My coach knows Yolanda. I love her, and she knows my heart and knows everything regarding Optavia. But I've loved sugar all of my life. And what happened? I started with Optavia in October. My 60th birthday was in January. So 3 months without sugar. I'm like, I'm gonna have me a piece of cake. I'm gonna have me a piece of cake. But I just realized, looking for a photo, I look back 6 months, which was January, we're in August now, and I still been in my 180s, because there are times that I'm like, okay, not time for me to check in yet, weigh in yet, so I'm gonna eat me a little sugar. I have adopted sugar gradually back into, and it's embarrassing to say, and I can cry right now, because it's like, God, you brought me too far. I was 224 when I started. Now I've lost 41 pounds, and it's like, how am I going? How did I get caught back up? I don't do it a lot, but I do it. I say after 7 days, have me to weigh in. I'm gonna go ahead, and I'm really telling off for myself, y'all. But it's like, I'm, it's not time for me to weigh in yet, so I got a few more days. I can eat me a little something. I don't want to do this no more. Sugar was the reason why my ankles were swollen. I was 224 pounds. My legs looked like an obese woman, and it was hard. I don't want to go back there, but now I don't know how to. I don't know how to get back where I need to be. And for me to share this in public with all of you guys, I want help. I want help.
Man, wow. Yolanda, you just, man, you messing me up. This is why we do what we do. This is why we come on here. You're in a safe space, and I commend you. I commend you, because you just told your old self that I don't want to go back there. I don't want to experience what I've experienced before. I want to experience life at another level. So you know what? You started the journey today just by saying that, right? The longest journey begins with a single step. Thank you so much. You just gave somebody a breakthrough in their life. You're in a safe space. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. Ronnie, come on. I'm going to ask you guys, if you can you guys keep your shares to about a minute? Because I know there are a lot of people on here this morning. And if we could just get some really, really powerful shares, because just like Yolanda, there's some people on here that needs to hear what you have to say on your journey to get their breakthrough. So Ronnie, come on, talk to us. Thomas, I'm sorry, Thomas.
Oh, good morning, everyone. For me, the biggest change in what I'm feeling, I mean, at 61, I didn't feel like, I never thought I could feel this good. And I just related to having structure in my life. The biggest problem I have is going to the grocery store and coming out with stuff I don't need. And that's kind of taken me back a little bit on where I want to be with my health. So I re-examine my why and understand that I don't want to go back to the old person that I used to be, and being able to use all the tools of training here has really helped me out.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. One of the things that we could commit to so many other things. We commit to our jobs, we commit to, other people. Well, man, the commitment to self oftentimes is so difficult, right? And so, we talk about putting on our mask first. And it's important that we recognize that when we if we commit to this, that we're gonna have to omit some things. And a lot of times we think that we're losing out, right? So we have the fear of missing out, FOMO, right? But I want to switch your mind and start to thinking the joy of missing out. When I choose and when I make a choice to be better in my life, then I want that to be something enjoyable. Rachel, I see your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to really talk about what hit me big time this morning in preparation for this call, coming in, looking at myself. And it was right in the section of 75, when you try to change in order to get rid of a negative feeling or a situation, you will slip once things get better. It just doesn't work long term. And so my biggest struggle with my health in the last 5 years is that I feel like I'm good, right? Like I'm good. I'm at a healthy BMI, I have muscle, like things are looking good, feeling good. And so I only let good get good enough. And then I start sabotaging. And it's just been a pattern for me. I'll give you an example. Last night, had a great day of eating, great day of hydrating, great day of moving, came home and ate tortilla chips right before bed. As I was standing there eating them, I was rationalizing that I'm good. Like things fit great. I'm not looking for weight loss, but that is old behavior that I want to also confess. Like I have a fear of success. I'm realizing it through this program that it's how good is good enough. I didn't want to eat the tortilla chips. That's why it's a problem, because I ate against my will again. And so I'm recognizing that, you know what? It doesn't matter. We're not in this for weight management. That's one part of health. But if I'm making choices that don't align with my long-term goals, and I can see it, I can fix it with all of you guys. And I just want to confess, like, I get it, Yolanda. I get it. And whether you're at a healthy weight, choosing against your will, or not at a healthy weight, choosing against your will, you're choosing against your will. And that's why I need to be in this community. And I'm just so thankful for the call today, because I really want to get past those things with all of you.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks. Thank you, Rachel, for sharing that. You know, as you were talking, is one of the things I had in my notes to share is that we get connected to certain relationships and we think that they're okay, right? Because it satisfies me, satisfy what I want, and right? It satisfies how I want to feel. And how many times of us would agree that, you know, our feelings at times let us down, right? Right. So I may have felt good eating those M&Ms, right? Oh, it tastes good. But I know it wasn't, you know, helping me in my journey towards the things that I want better for myself. Thank you. Ali, Ali, go ahead, Ali.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So Yolanda, thank you so much for sharing, because you really spoke to my heart, because I was in that place that you're in with sugar. And, you know, kind of like Rachel said, I did great, got to where I felt good. And then I noticed I would start going back with a little here and a little there. And I will tell you, I've been really on track. You know, I had to reset my mind and really dig, but I had 2 huge wins the last 2 days. And I'll tell you, out to dinner last night, my kids chose to get dessert. And typically I would either share it with them, or God forbid they leave anything on the plate, I was cleaning it up, no matter, you know, cheesecake, chocolate brownie, whatever it is. So I did not do that last night, and I felt really good about that. And then this morning, as I was making them their Saturday pancakes, which I also love, they had a couple left on their plate. And my new trick is to put it in the sink real fast and put water over it, because I ain't gonna eat those soggy pancakes. But that's something I had to discover I had to do, right? But what I feel is that I feel so good with those wins, and that good is better than the bad I feel when I kind of mess up and make a bad decision. So I could just encourage you to take each little moment where you want that sugar. And for me, it was whether it was fruit or M&Ms, but every time I felt so good making the right decision for my goals, that good felt so much better than that bad and getting down on myself. So, just keep it up and remember how good you feel when you do get past that obstacle.
Sweet. Thank you. Thanks. I love the idea of the water on the pancake. That was pretty good. One of the things that we need to recognize too as we come in, I see hands are up, right? We're all different stages, right? In your book, we're all at different stages in change, right? So you have to recognize where you have to recognize where you are in that stage. Where am I in that stage in my journey right now? Right? Some of us are just starting out. Some of us are, we say OG in this thing, but at this, but we're never perfect. We make mistakes. I'm going to use me as an example. I eat pizza because I say pizza is good carbs and I burn it off tomorrow morning. Well, let me say this to you. While I may be able to eat pizza and be 3 pounds after I wake up in the morning, it may not be the best meal of the day for the journey that I'm on, right? And so again, we need to just really recognize where we are on us and not beat ourselves up, right? Dr. A said he wants us to be the chief advocates of our journey, our health journey, lifelong transformation for the rest of our lives. Opal, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So just a quick story. This summer, I had my grandchildren here, and I think Rachel and we was talking about being grandparents and how we want to do the right things, be healthy and eat right and everything. So I started out on that journey this summer. Had the kids all going to the store with me, picking out all the healthy things. And I tell you, right in the middle of it, we're going out riding. Oh, let's get some ice cream. Oh, and just caving into those little treats. Oh, it won't hurt here and there. And then the next thing you know, the grocery shopping switched up. And I said all that to say that I had lost my 30 pounds and everything, but I know that with my surroundings at the time, my choices, I was struggling with Optavia program and pleasing and being in the surroundings of, wanting them to have fun at the same time. So those choices we are going to struggle with, but getting back into our book, Habits of Health, having the community, speaking out loud, everyone sharing their testimonies of you're not the only one to have those struggles, but we have the like mind, like heart, helps put you back on track. So no matter where you are today is a beginning, and you can start where you are to continue. And so I just wanted to say that. So thank you so much, Yolanda, and everyone for sharing, because we're going to stay on track.
Sweet, love it. It's page 78 at the bottom in the left-hand corner. Dr. A says, each time you think about what you don't want, reframe the thought by focusing on what you want to gain with a choice instead of what you want to lose, right? So it goes back to FOMO or JOMO, right? Reframe it. What am I trying to do here? I don't want to sabotage myself. So begin to reframe your thoughts, right? As a man thinking in his heart, so is he. I hate to preach on you this morning. But again, our thought processes have to change. Melody, I'd love to hear what you got to say. Come on. You're on mute, Mel.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Gotcha. Yes.
Okay. I can relate with Yolanda. My grandson, who doesn't like cake, likes Nana's cake. I used to be a cake decorator. And I came and had, I had a sample of the buttercream that I was making. And then it went to, well, I already screwed up my day, so I might as well have a piece of cake. And I feel like I paid for it the next day. I just felt so sluggish, horrible feeling. So, but I'm back on track, and it's tough sometimes when you want to bake those things that everybody wants because you're the nana that does it. and I just try not to do it anymore. So my health is more important, I guess, than making things for the fire department, my grandkids. So I struggle with that part.
Wow. Well, I'm going to tell you this, Mel, that the struggle is real. Every face that you see on these squares right now and the ones you can't see struggle with exactly some of the things that you're dealing with, right? And a lot of times when we come on this in this space, and there's a tendency to think there's a bunch of perfect people here. I don't have my not so perfect hat on this morning, you know, but again, we're not seeking perfection. What we're doing is progress, right? And as you make those simple adjustments to your health journey, you're going to begin to see that you become that chief advocate in your life. You begin to take control. And Dr. A says one of the most dangerous things that we have to deal with is emotional mismanagement. It's the #1 killer in America, emotional mismanagement. We do so many things because of emotion. We eat out of emotion. We cry out of emotion. We love out of emotion. We do all of these things out of emotion. Page 79 talks about that, and you can read it at your own time. But I want to hear from you guys. Brittany, talk to us this morning. Come on.
I was chatting. So I just wanted to jump in because I found this program over 2 years ago, and I went in and I was like, yeah, I know it's not a diet, but I will tell you honestly, like for 4 months, I was pretending in my head that I knew it was a lifestyle, but I was doing a diet. Even though I just wasn't quite getting that. But then I ended up with a 1.5 years of medical stuff I had to deal with. And I'll tell you, what I did then was all of this, because when I ended up in a nursing home and couldn't walk, I was like, oh, well, I guess when I get better, I can decide to do this or not. I still had that, like, oh, maybe I'll do this. But I continued coaching through that. And right now, I'll tell you, I lived in FOMO so much that FOMO made me do things that say yes to things that were not for my best interest, that led me down a path of people pleasing and then going home and shoving food in my mouth automatically because I was empty and upset and I didn't understand this community. I just wanted people. So I said I lived in FOMO, and it can lead to NOMO, because right now, after all of this, I am so thankful that I'm alive. And there are a bunch of different factors. I mean, thank the good Lord above that I'm still here. And I feel quite a responsibility to be honest and vulnerable as you have been today. You people that are sharing your struggles give me so much hope, because I've been in a world where we're not allowed to talk about what is a struggle and what is hurting us. And I'm done with perfection, because I cannot help anyone else if I'm trying to be perfect. But if I can be real and be like, look, I get it. This is hard, but I just want to say, keep doing that and keep showing up, because this community has changed my life. And that's why I'm here still. And I'm so thankful. So I just wanted to share that with you all. Thank you so much for being vulnerable. Brave people.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you so much. We have probably a couple minutes left. So if this is resonating with you this morning, any of this, just put a 2 in the chat, because I want to see what I want to take a hard pulse this morning, because I mean, we're talking about real people with real struggles, and they're pouring it out, you know, and they're like, man, I need help. I'm struggling, you know, and think about how many people outside of the 100 people that are on this screen right now, outside people that you know that are having these same struggles that you're working through. Thank God we have a tool that will help us work through it, and we're still struggling. But imagine the people around us. So I got 2 more people, and then we're gonna cut this. Monica's gonna jump on, and James is gonna come on. Yolanda, sorry, and Mike, we probably won't get to you because unless you guys are gonna give us grace to run over a little bit. But I mean, but again, please, you know, love to hear Monica and then James, and then we're gonna close this out. All right, thank you guys.
Hi, everyone. So I am brand new. I'm on day 6. This is my first Saturday with you all. And a couple things, I'm going to be super fast to respect time for everybody. The first thought I had was what brought me here, what drew me to this is because I realized that my my problems, my difficulties, my struggles were habits that I had created for myself. I had a habit of being sedentary. I had a habit of choosing unhealthy food because of the ease or the convenience. These were habits I created. And if I created those, I needed a way to create better habits. So that's kind of what attracted me here. The second piece is in response to Melody. As I teared up listening to her, I had this huge aha moment. And Melody, I hope this speaks to your heart. I, of course, am here for me. I am prioritizing myself and I want that help. But there are a multitude of loved ones in my life that I secondarily am doing this for, right? Because it's important to me to be able to have time, quality time with them. My aha moment listening to you, Melody, is that I have the opportunity to create a legacy of health, not just for myself, but for my loved ones. So by the example that I can set, the way that I can model, I think about my grandkids. Sorry, that's my alarm to fuel, for my fueling. I think about my grandkids. I spent a month with them in Florida this summer. And man, if we drove through Dunkin' Donuts to get a drink and a breakfast sandwich one day, we did it a week's worth of the time I was there. And so I think about the fact that I will no longer be enabling that for them, developing in them those bad habits that I had created in my own life. Perhaps I can actually have the opposite effect and help them build some sustainable habits while they're young.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Legacy, leaving a legacy. Wow. Not just for me, not just for us. James, come on.
Yes, real quick, Nurse family. About a couple of days ago, I had a epiphany where I had this addiction with sugar. I mean, kind of really like I was on drugs with sugar. So one of the things that really was on me was ice cream. There's this place called Cold Stone's Ice Cream. So I would go past Cold Stone's Ice Cream when I first started Optavia, and I wouldn't go in there. Then all of a sudden I could hear it calling me when I was passing it. I would go in and I would get like the little small one to like it, thinking, okay, it'll be okay. Then the next week or the next day, I go in and get the Love It. Okay. Eventually I ended up not getting the Love It, but getting a pint of ice cream. Okay. So bottom line short, up front, on Wednesday, I believe it was, I needed this particular medication that I needed because of high blood pressure. And when I went to the pharmacy, they told me it was going to cost me $600, right? And so, because my insurance wasn't going to cover it. So out of that, I felt like I didn't have any physical control of the situation. And it really just struck me that I really need to take what I'm doing in Optavia seriously, because it could be a matter of life and death. And so friends, you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. We're in this together. And another thing is, you cannot outrun your fort. I tried it. My fort and calories were waiting for me at the finish line. So that won't work as well. But we can do this. That's all I have out here.
Wow. Thank you. And we out of time, but certain not out of information. I see hands popping up, and we want to be true to this because we value your time. But again, we're gonna wrap this up this morning. This was great. Thank everybody for sharing. Dr. A says something, and I'm gonna leave with this: the right eating approach is vital, important, but it's just the first step. For lifelong or long-term success, you need the right motivation. So what's your motivation to getting healthy? Some people say for their family, health. I don't want to be in a hospital. What's your motivation this morning? And you're going to have to look in the mirror and ask yourself the question, what's my motivation to getting healthy and to make the right choices? So I'm going to turn this back over to Rachel. Thank you so much for allowing me to be the hostess, not with the mostess, but to share our time with our family. Go ahead.
Awesome, guys. Well, I know that we want to put feet on this, right? And so I think it's really important to share what you heard, what shifted with you on this call with your coach. And that's your person that's imperfectly walking it out with you. You only have to be perfect on a diet. But when you go to be perfect for the rest of your life, you're going to have something that's not linear. We're talking about this isn't linear, right? It's a little bit like this. And that's what page 77 says in this book. So I would just challenge you guys, go to page 77, read it, give yourself big attaboys for the habits that you already are in stage 5 with, or stage 4. Recognize how you're changing. Give yourself the attaboy on that, but identify one that's weaker. Take it to your coach, tell them what stage you're on of that habit. Remembering sugar's a drug, it has a 72-hour withdrawal cycle. We all can be free in 72 hours, right? It's just how many times are we going to dance with that devil, right? So your coach is there for you. This community is there for you. I challenge you with that today. Thank you, Nalties, for leading such an incredible discussion. And I do have to say this, just indulge me for a moment. 5 years ago, I had this on my heart. I said, hey guys, let's do a book club together, okay? Let's read this together. It's a lot of material. Who wants to do it by themselves? Not many people, right? So I envisioned a book club. And it started with coaches sharing and telling our story and kind of teaching. We were a little teachy, okay? And then it's evolved through all of you into a real discussion that's transparent and real, and it's setting people free, and it's breaking chains, and it's not anybody teaching. And I just, today my heart is on fire because I'm like, 5 years ago, I had this in my mind and it's real. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that contributed today. This warmed my heart in so many ways. And thank you to the Nalties again for leading us through a great discussion. We'll see you guys next week.